everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinsel.
And we had a wild weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway, boys. It was an exciting one. But before we dig into all of that, let's get into our diecast of the week. Nick, what'd you bring for us?
Well, this is the beginning of the round of 12 that's going to be opening up at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And this Saturday, Daniel Hemrick is running car for the number 8. So I brought out his 1,000 point Chevy Camaro. This will be on his autograph. I love the South Point schemes. They only ran it one other time this year, or two other times. So it's always good seeing South Point on board and the car. Hope for some luck on Saturday night. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
Very
let's
nice,
hope so.
Dude.
Yeah, I've always loved that South Point car. That's always my favorite of his that he's driven.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be real cool if we can get old Hemdog to turn around and salvage the season.
God, at least finish the race. That's all he needs. All right, Mike, what'd you bring?
All right, guys. I wanted to play this a couple weeks ago, but Ryan Blaney needed all my positive juju I could give him, and it still wasn't enough. But we'll get into that later. But I got this basically, I would say almost at like a garage sale when our buddy Juan brought over basically a plastic tub full of diecast at Nick's Dad Jim's for a race weekend a couple weekends ago, and I snagged this off him. An original 1999 My Hero Jeff Gordon DuPont 24 Rainbow Warrior car. In my opinion, the best looking paint scheme in the history of NASCAR. I've always loved this car. Yeah, original box, 1999. That's one of those, if you go to an antique store and find something like that, that's a score and a half. So I figured I had to come on here and show it off at least once.
Oh, dude, that is a classic you got right there, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. So for my diecast of the week, this is related to some news that we just got recently. Ross Chastain will be driving the 42 for Chip Ganassi Racing. We're going to get into more of that on Ian's Pit Stop. Make sure to watch that. And there's news of Kyle Larson coming back into NASCAR and possibly taking the 48. So I busted out Kyle Larson's Michigan win. I believe this was from 2017. This was with his Cars 3 paint scheme that he had, the Lightning McQueen. I just absolutely love this car.
Yeah, that's a sweet car right there, man. Pretty badass.
I was Target's last year in NASCAR, correct?
Yeah.
It was.
I missed the Target cars.
Oh, they were the best, man. I love those cars so much. And guys, make sure to check out our episode that we were on with Patrick Kodo with the KODOs Mojo. We talked NASCAR, we talked football, we talked baseball. So make sure to check out the KODOs Mojo. He's on all podcast platforms. Make sure to follow him on Twitter and Instagram. He'd love all the support that he can get. So now, guys, let's get into the Truck Series race that we had at Bristol Motor Speedway. So this opened up the Truck Series playoffs. Grant Enfinger won the pole, but Brett Moffitt, he basically immediately took the lead away on lap 1. Still had that momentum from when we were here last year at Bristol. So Moffitt's showing speed real early. And then Moffitt goes on and wins stage 1. That is his 6th stage win of 2020.
Yeah, he looked like the truck to beat early. Like you said, Ian, he's kind of scooted out to the lead really quickly in this race, and then just didn't look back. Didn't really seem like too many people could hang with him early in the race. And yeah, just looked like a really, really fast truck early in this race with that clean air, with not too much lap traffic to worry about early on.
Yeah. We had Tyler Angram. He went on to win stage 2, but this was actually his first ever stage win in his Truck Series career, with this being his 2nd season. And so that kind of took me off because he's won a race, and you would have think that he would have won a stage by now.
Yeah, the stage racing sets you up for some weird scenarios like that. You go up and you get to the lead real late in a race and get your first win. You could have ran 18th all race. And
what happened with him is that he won his only race on a fuel mileage gamble, and it worked out for him. I don't know where he was running. That was at Kentucky last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
he ran around mid top 10 all race, and then he gambled and paid off for him. So yeah, I could see that being his first stage win.
Okay. And then we had Austin versus Austin. Austin Wayne Self was trying to clear himself around Austin Hill. Hill doesn't lift and basically takes him out.
But not,
Wayne's,
buddy.
yeah, Wayne Self did it to himself.
Maybe it's,
Good.
maybe
Yeah, good.
or his wife was on his mind or something like that.
Oh, okay. All right, let's not dig too deep. And then Sam Mayer, he became the second youngest winner in Truck Series history with getting the win at Bristol at 17 years old. Guys, Sam Mayer, is he the next big thing in NASCAR?
Well, he wasn't really on my radar until like this season. So yeah, Sam Mayer, he's dominating in ARCA right now. Him and Ty Gibbs are running the show down there. And Ty Gibbs has yet to make a truck start yet. So Sam Mayer's kind of leapfrogging him here. So I definitely say Sam Mayer. He's going to be driving for Junior Motorsports next season. Once after he turns 18. And so yeah, congratulations to him. Ty Gibbs, you better scoot over. You got some competition, bud. Those two are going to be really fun to watch when they come up.
Yeah, another thing too, he actually pulled the double that day. If you guys did or didn't see, he won the ARCA race as well.
Yep.
So Sam Mayer so far in his career is looking like the real deal. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens as he kind of moves up through the ranks. So really cool to see the young kid get it done. Awesome race for everybody except for Nick and I being Trevor Bayne fans.
Yeah, the racing got Bayne because he finished 5th and then he got disqualified.
Hey, you know what? That doesn't matter. He's not even running for points or anything.
Of an inch, an eighth of an inch.
That's ridiculous. But you know what? Regardless, he still had a great run.
I don't understand how a truck can pass pre-race inspection and then fail post-race inspection. That's just really these NASCAR gimmicky bullshit.
Okay, Connor.
Yeah,
it's
gimmick
BS.
McGee.
It just does not make any sense, but an eighth of an inch. I'm kind of glad that he did not get up there and win, because if he won and they had taken away from him, I would not be on the show this week because I would be in North Carolina somewhere looking for the president of NASCAR.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, they have the rules in place for a reason. You know, one of the reasons that they do pre and post race, you know, like we've talked about on the show before, these teams have gotten so smart, they've designed parts to fail to give them advantages. Not saying it's what happened, but that's what they suspected happened with Kevin Harvick a couple years ago with his just above his rear window, that part denting could give you aerodynamic advantage. That's the reason that disqualified him. They said that that part was failing on purpose to give him that. So, guys, listen, it's NASCAR. We heard about everything Humpy Wheeler pulled back in the day, putting basketballs in the fuel line so it seems like they're full when he's got more room. Everything else in between. I mean, listen, if they ain't cheating, they ain't trying. If there's a will, there's a way. They're going to push all the gray area they can. So,
my favorite story, I don't remember what team or what driver did this, but they put a big like ice block under the car when they weighed the car, and then, you know, obviously melted during the race. And oh man, I just love those stories of what the hell they got away with back then.
I wish we got more of those stories nowadays when you get guys failing inspection 2 or 3 times. Kyle Busch, everybody, Joe Goods. But
dude, that's just I wish I could have grown up in like 1970s, 1980s NASCAR. I just feel like that was the most alive time for this sport, and just to see what these guys do, like got guys lighting cigarettes in the race cars. I mean, they just did not care.
Oh, it was a great time.
I couldn't agree more, man. That would have been one of the coolest things to live through.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, so let's get into the Xfinity Series. We had Justin Allgaier winning the pole, and we got treated to a great battle with Justin Allgaier and Ross Chastain battling for the lead in Stage 1. That was really exciting there. Ross Chastain trying to get something, trying to finally get a win. But then we had a caution on lap 63. Jeffrey Earnhardt and BJ McLeod, teammates on JD Motorsports. Jeffrey Earnhardt basically got into the rear of BJ McLeod, put him in the wall, which he bounced off, hit his driver, Vinnie Miller, and then Tommy Joe Martins gets hit from someone else back from trying to avoid the wreck ahead. It's just like a super speedway wreck where there's a wreck ahead of you, and then you get caught up in something else from people trying to avoid it.
I feel so bad for Tommy Joe because he just gets into wrecks every week, it seems like, and it sucks to see. Such a cool dude on Twitter, and then every single week he's tearing up his own race cars.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it best. Feel bad for old TJM sometimes, but what are you going to do, man? That's the way it goes.
Cars every week, it seems like.
Yeah.
0.0 is what we're going to start calling him real soon.
Oh,
damn. And then Justin Allgaier still keeping that momentum. He went on to win stage 1. And then we had a caution out with 51 to go in stage 2. The 08 of Joe Graf Jr. gets loose and sends Michael Annett and himself into the wall hard, basically ending their contention.
Yeah, it's another one you see every time. Then bucked up Sup's car crumpled up and into the wall. I feel kind of bad for Joe Graf Jr. He was a pretty kind of a standout driver in the ARCA series on his way up too. He was one that was on my radar and just really hasn't translated overly well so far for him in the Xfinity series. So,
and he's had a few runs with RCR in the Xfinity series too, and just really couldn't put anything together.
Exactly.
Why you didn't see him getting any of these opportunities this year. Because he ran the 21 car a couple times last year, I believe, and he was running around 18th first. So you can't really put that on the equipment when last year RCR won a championship. So.
Yeah,
hard to argue that, man.
Yeah, no kidding right there. All right, and then we had a battle of the aggressive drivers. Ross Chastain and Noah Gragson put a show on for us. They were bumping and banging, battling for fourth. This is what I love about Bristol. You get these kind of battles, and you get these two aggressive guys just duking it out. This is what I love about Bristol.
Please, 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 for the love of God, can we have it work out where these two race each other or around each other every race for the rest of the season? Because that would be absolute fireworks, the most entertaining thing on the planet.
If you want to give me a heart attack every race weekend, then yeah, okay.
But man, come on, like two guys that will not back down, will do everything they can for that extra inch in that position, and they don't care if they ruffle some feathers along the way. Fits both guys perfectly, and that is the irresistible force meets the immovable object on race day in the Xfinity Series, and it was damn awesome to see.
Well, it's just those two always put on a show, and they're able to beat and bang with each other because of those composite bodies that these Xfinity cars run. It allows them to do that, and yeah, those two, I would pay like hundreds of dollars to keep them together the entire time.
Dude, I would pay hundreds of dollars to watch them go karting together.
I bet you their Mario Kart matches would be badass.
Yeah, there you go.
Where they get shells and stars and shit. Hey, watch your language, man. Oh, man.
Watermelons at Noah Gragson.
Oh, my God.
He doesn't get mushrooms. He get watermelons for power up.
Oh, man. And then Justin Allgaier, he sweeps the stages in this race. He goes on to win stage 2. Guys, Justin Allgaier is looking like a force to be reckoned with lately, collecting so many stage points, getting those 2 wins from Richmond last week. He could be a contender for this title.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he's one of, if not the strongest short track driver in the Xfinity field. He's absolutely phenomenal at your short track races. And man, he's really peaking at the right time as they're going into the Xfinity playoffs here. I think he's in a really good position as long as he can keep this momentum up, because as we know, Phoenix is a great track for that 7 team and for Justin Allgaier. So yeah, keep this momentum up, keep doing well. Again, the race doesn't end the way we would have liked here, as we'll get into in a moment, but just racking up them stage points and the playoff points with the stage wins is huge.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Allgaier is clearly the better of the junior motorsports cars right now. Kind of earlier in the year, Noah Gragson filled that role, and then Gragson's kind of cooled off a bit since he won at Bristol a couple months back. He's starting to get a little worried there. It looks like that racing speed's going away from the 9 car, and now the 7 car is starting to fill that role.
Yeah, he's just not really looking like what he was. I mean, pretty much after that awful Homestead weekend where he should have won both goddamn races with those late race cautions. He's just, I mean, he's been there. We saw it at the Indy Road Course. He almost got that win when he was racing with those boys for the lead, but just not really seeing it as much. And, like about a month ago, he said he's kind of cut some toxic people out of his lives, trying to change things up. So I don't know if that's like on his mind a lot, but I just hope he just gets back into it and starts getting more checkered flags.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it looks like right now for the championship four, we got Briscoe, we got Cindric and Allgaier. So that fourth spot still can be open for Gragson. It's just he's going to kind of step it up a little bit. It doesn't necessarily mean go out and win every single race. Of course, he'd love to do that, but you just got to get that top three speed. I feel like he's kind of lost that a little bit since in these past couple of months.
Yeah, no doubt.
absolutely. I think I talked about it on one of our shows last week. He doesn't necessarily need a win right now because of position he's in, but he dang well could use that momentum right now. Get one done, get that winning feeling back. Because you guys know from watching the sport, winning's contagious. Once you break through that barrier, we've seen it time and time again. Guys just take off. So here's a guy like Noah who's won a bunch and kind of been slipping here, but he gets going again. Look out, man.
Well, yeah, look at his teammate right now. Allgaier was struggling all year. He finally breaks through for the win, and then he goes on and sweeps Richmond, and he gets two more valuable playoff points here. Winning is contagious.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we had an exciting finish for the race. Chase Briscoe, Ross Chastain, and Austin Cindric battling for the lead, but Chase Briscoe was able to hold them off and get his 7th win of 2020. Guys, he said he thinks he needs 8 or more wins to be in a competitive cup ride. He is damn near there now. So congrats to Chase Briscoe. Do you guys think that he is cup level ready?
Well, Chase Briscoe is cup caliber level ready, but I still don't know if he moves up next year because he said it they had their media day today, and he's kind of talking about it. He's like, I would rather go out and win a lot of Xfinity races than move up to the Cup Series and run 25th, 30th every week. So it's something really good next year is going to have to open up for Chase Briscoe in order for him to move up. Otherwise, I think he's going take another year in the Xfinity Series and go out and dominate it again. And then we don't know what's going on with Clint Boyer, so he's definitely cup ready. It's just I don't know 100% if he's going to move up next year.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think he's immensely talented. I think if there were the right opportunity for him in the Cup Series, he could step in and do well. I just don't think that's going to happen this year. Nick, you kind of touched on one of my biggest points. The interview he just gave where he said there's no real point, in his opinion, to go up and run in a mid to lower level car when he could just stay down here and run for a championship again, which I would tend to agree with. I think what you're going to see this year with some of those kind of guys, it's going to be more advantageous for them to stay down in the Xfinity Series, because I think this year is going to be almost like you get like a lame duck president. You're going to have like a lame duck NASCAR season in 2021 because we know we're getting new rules. I don't think teams are going to be as willing to take gambles on some guys like that. I think you're going to see a lot of guys re-signing like 1-year deals, like a Boyer type, like the Ryan Preece staying around for another year, just because then, the next year you're coming into the next gen car and everything like that. It just would make a lot more sense there to bring in new talent, new blood, and things like that. So I think you're going to see Chase Briscoe running for and potentially winning another Xfinity championship in the 2021 season.
Yeah, I can see that only if, the 14 or the 10 ride opens up because, that's still questionable if they're going to be running in 2021 with Eric Almirola and Clint Boyer.
Well, Almirola
So,
stopped. So
Yeah, Almirola is signed, and
yeah.
per multiple sources, there's going to be no real changes at SHR, barring something crazy.
Yeah.
So the other guy I think stays down too, talking about this, if nothing opens up, Austin Cindric's got to be in the same boat as well. We've seen him breakout year this year, got 7 wins on the year for Austin Cindric. I don't think unless he takes the 21 is his best shot. So unless Wood Brothers doesn't sign Matthew Benedetto back for the next season, I think we'll see Austin Cindric stay down in the Xfinity Series for another year as well and wait for 2021 or 2022 to see what really opens up. That's just what I think is going to happen. Because Cindric's in the same boat. Why move up to lower level, lower performing team that's up there? You know, got the talent to go out and win races.
Yeah. And
That
I
makes
think that's
sense.
good for the fans in a lot of ways too, because that means we get another year of those two fighting each other for a championship. And it's been surprisingly fun to watch as somebody who's been very critical of Austin Cindric in his career. To see him come up and flourish has been a surprise, and dare I even say a pleasant surprise. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. Now a full year of these two guys just really knowing how to get it done, leading into another year, those two racing each other for a championship.
Oh,
Man, that's gonna be a lot of fun, boys.
oh yeah. All right, guys. So now let's get into the Cup Series race that we had at Bristol. The
I don't
Bass
wanna.
Pro.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, sorry, boys, but we got to talk about it.
Screw this race.
We had Brad Keselowski winning the pole, and then basically Kevin Harvick takes the lead away from Keselowski on lap 18. Kevin Harvick was looking fast the entire race here. We had a caution on lap 30 for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., basically giving Jimmy Johnson no room. Jimmy gave him a bump and took Ricky right into the wall. Pretty much the story of Ricky this year is just wrecking, getting into someone else, pissing off someone else. It's usually what he does.
Well, early exits is the story of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. this year. It's like 3 times he's been before we reached like lap 50 in a race. So that sucks because this had to have been something marked on Stenhouse's calendar as this is where I can go out and show some good speed. Bristol's one of the best racetracks besides those races.
Oh, yeah. We had Chase Elliott going on to win stage 1, and early problems for Matt DiBenedetto. He had a right rear going down, so he had to make an unscheduled pit stop. Took him multiple laps down. He was able to get back up there.
Yeah, I was going to say, after that pit stop, he was 3 laps down, and I was like, all right, screw this. This night is really over now. And then within a span of 50 laps, he was able to get back on the lead lap. So kudos to the 21 team for that, but they let me down again a little later. We'll get into that.
Yeah. And then we had some hood damage for Denny Hamlin getting into the rear of Martin Truex Jr. So some issues with teammates. I believe Truex was trying to get down to pit road, and Denny just slammed right into him.
Well, Joe Gibbs on Joe Gibbs crime again, man.
Yep.
Just you hate to see it.
It's been happening, man. And then we had a caution on lap 234. Disappointment for William Byron getting into the 51 that checked up on the straightaway, basically ending his playoff hopes. You got to feel it for him there, a guy that's basically, a running chicane on the track, basically ends your playoff run. So that just really, really sucks for Willie B right there.
Yeah, but, I think this is something I also kind of predicted a couple weeks back on Kinzel's Classroom. He's an emotional guy. I thought when he got put into a position like this, it wouldn't end well for him. So,
yeah, I feel for him a little bit. He had 2 really good runs in the first 2 races of the playoffs, and then they get taken out by Rick Ware Racing. Rick Ware Racing, week in, week out. This car was running like 18 laps down at Bristol. That's absolutely absurd. So
Nothing like a Gase or a Smithley.
Yeah, it's just really disappointing to see. I mean, like for NASCAR to allow these slow cars to run on the racetrack, I don't know. It's just I don't get what Rick Ware Racing gets out of running races every single week. They do it for the money, but
that's it.
That's it.
It's a business, man. They know they're not winning races, but they know if they play the game the right way, it can be profitable for them.
Yeah, no kidding. And then we had some trouble for Brad Keselowski losing power steering, but there's really no worries there. He got the win at Richmond last week, so he's already advancing to the next round. And then we had a crazy event right here. Caution on lap 93. Kevin Harvick was slowing down to go on the pit road. Austin Dillon was on the inside, right behind him, didn't realize, and he goes up the track, missing Harvick, but taking out the 53 of James Davison. That was a real close one right there, boys.
Another chicane of James Davison, another Rick Ware racing car. Love it.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
a wild incident. I mean, it's just one of those, like, perfectly timed up, like, pieces of danger all coming together at the same time. And what can you do?
Yeah. And then we had an amazing battle for the final 60-some laps with Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch duking it out for the lead. And we had 34 to go. Lap traffic comes into play, and Kyle Busch can't get around Joey Logano whatsoever. So Kyle Busch makes a final push on the final lap, but cannot get past Kevin Harvick. And Kevin Harvick earns his 9th win of 2020. Boys, I swear to God, if this comes into another 2018 situation where Kevin Harvick is the most dominant driver, and then some schmo like Joey Logano, who's got like 3-4 wins, sneaks his way in and steals it, I'm going to be pissed.
That's prime NASCAR, though. That's something like that's going to happen. All I can say is Kevin Harvick better thank Joey Logano for that one.
Yeah.
Busch is the fastest car on the racetrack all race long. We're seeing this guy top of the track. He went from the back up to the front. I mean, Kyle Busch was easily the best car there. So, and a lot of people were crucifying Joey Logano, but what did you guys really expect from Joey Logano? Of course, he was going to do something like that.
Yeah, they're not buddies.
He ain't going to move out of the way for anybody, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I understand why people are upset because it was a real dipshit thing to do.
Hey, watch your language, man.
But it's Joey Logano, and it's Joey Logano against Kyle Busch. If there was ever a time you thought somebody was going to catch a break, that wasn't it.
No, sir.
Second off, Ian, you hit exactly on my biggest gripe with the playoffs and the playoff system we have now. You're going to have a guy like a Kevin Harvick once again dominate the season, and I almost feel comfortable enough at this point. Would be like, I'll bet money he doesn't win a championship. Nothing against Kevin, nothing to piss you off, but that's just the way this seems to work year in and year out with the playoffs.
And I won't be surprised if it does. I'm going to be really pissed. I'm going to be like, well, that's how this bullshit of a playoff series works.
Hey, watch your language, man.
Or what's like a guy like Kyle Busch who's going to point his way into the championship for his first win of the year is going to be at Phoenix and then wins the championship. Meanwhile, Harvick probably finishes with 10, 11 wins this year and isn't your champion. Like,
if that happens, I'm going to fly down to frickin' Nashville and beat Dalton's ass, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, that just gives me anxiety just thinking about it. All right.
Well,
so
hey, at least you got good problems to have, man. Me and Nick are on the outside in. We're going to be sad drinking the rest of the season now.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well,
especially when Blaney well, hey, especially when once again Blaney wins Talladega and it's not going to matter. So
yeah, but hey, still winning races though.
I guess.
Yeah. So looking at the playoff picture now, the 4 drivers that have been eliminated, we have Cole Custer, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and Matt DiBenedetto. Guys, this kind of surprised me here. Austin Dillon was looking very, very fast in the beginning of this playoff round. I did not think that he was going to advance to the next round. Clint Boyer was looking really speedy. We kind of expected that, but to see Ryan Blaney eliminated, I feel like that is the biggest one of all, is seeing Ryan Blaney not advance to the round of 12.
Yeah, and as a Ryan Blaney fan, it's completely, utterly unacceptable. You're in one of the best rides in NASCAR, and you had a great season as far as where you're running average-wise during the race and everything all season long. To just completely fall apart in the biggest time of the year is absolutely unacceptable. I dare to even say I don't even feel like it's mostly on Ryan. There were pit road mistakes, setup mistakes where they just couldn't get the car right. There was at least 1 or 2 times during the race this past Sunday where I'm keeping up with the in-car audio, and they're telling, Ryan, we don't even know what's wrong with the car at this point. So how is that possible going into a place like Bristol where he runs so well? How is it possible? We have no idea what's going on with the car. I don't want to give up on the Todd Gordon-Ryan Blaney marriage. I think they are going to be a good team down the road. Sometimes that starts off rocky because they have to get used to each other and what one likes and needs and vice versa. But they cannot have another year like this, or one of those two will be out. And dare I say, if I had to guess, it will be Todd Gordon before Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, I have to agree. For Matt DiBenedetto, that team picked the worst time to have three of their worst races ever. Darlington was a show running as low as 31st at one point. Richmond, they were just never good. And then Bristol, the pit crew gave that one away with two loose wheels, and it's just unacceptable. And I'm with Mike with the same thing here. Matt DiBenedetto's crew chief, Greg Irwin, has not done all year. The setups have been really bad. The past 2 months have been horrible for Matty D and that 21 team. There's no speed in that car anymore. They damn near choked and didn't even almost missed out on the playoff. They had a 50-point cushion with like 3 weeks to go, and then their cars, their setups were just horrible. So if Matty D returns to the 21 car next year, I hope it comes out of with the expense of losing Greg Irwin. Although I have to say, I'm really happy the team still for Matt to make the playoffs for the first time in his career. Big turnaround for him and for this Wood Brothers team, but there's still a lot of work left to do on that.
Yeah. What I would just say in response to that is, if I were you as a Matt DiBenedetto fan, I'm looking at this whole year as house money. I mean, he made the playoffs. Nobody was really expecting Matt to make a super deep run in the playoffs. So if he does come back to the 21 team next year, which most signs pointing to, from all the rumors that you hear, sound like he will be back in that car next year. This year is just going to be, hey, we got there. We know what it takes to get there now. This is what we're going to experience when we get there next year, and try to make a deeper run from there. On the flip side, when you're Ryan Blaney and the 12 team with a championship crew chief like Todd Gordon, the expectations are already there. We talked about it in the build up to the season all year. We thought they were going to win 3 or 4 or 5 races, make a deep playoff run, and be a sleeper for the final 4 spot for the championship 4. And we missed that by so much. It's not even funny.
No, it's absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, something absolutely has to change over there. I don't know what it is, because as I'm saying that, again, I like Todd Gordon and Ryan Blaney both a lot, and I think they will be good together. But you know what? Something's got to start clicking. I hope maybe next year we get back to a little more normalcy and they get some practice and things like that, and can find ways to work on the cars and find that race speed, because we cannot have another 2020 season.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, definitely both those teams, the 12 and the 21, definitely need to work on their setups for next year. You know, obviously everything is so weird with COVID-19 going on right now. Like you said, Mike, not getting any practice, not getting any qualifying. So these guys are just rolling right off the hauler. Matt DiBenedetto's with a new team, so they don't really know how to work with each other. They only had 4 races where they actually got practice, kind of work together, and now they don't even get the chemistry anymore because drivers can't go to the shop. They can't, really interact. They go to the track, get in the car, and drive. And the only communication you really get is in your headset.
I mean, I'm not asking for 3 practice sessions like we were used to seeing. Just like one 1 hour session should be good. Hell, or if you want to break it up, give us 2 practice sessions and make that final practice like 30 minutes or something like that. That's what practice is there for. These guys make long run attempts so they can get a feel for what the car's going to be able to do. Just rolling off the truck, it's pretty much just saying good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's hurting the teams what they have new, that new combination there, and you're really seeing some of the stalwart teams that have been around for a while take off. I mean, Rodney's not missing too many setups on that 4 car. Gabe Hart's not missing too many on that 11. The only one that's the oddball on that is Adam Stevens, but he's notorious for being one where they work on the race car all weekend long. And make it better, and then until finally it's a race-winning car by the end of the weekend, and that didn't happen. So that's something I think we'll see change next year as we start to get a little bit back to normal, hopefully, fingers crossed. But just like we kind of talked about when the COVID stuff happened, you better hit your setups, and you better be able to make the right adjustments at time in the race, because there's there's no dress rehearsal now. So
Yeah, no, they only get the simulation time, but that has nothing to do with the race car. You cannot read what is going on with the race car during those. So
yeah, we watch enough iRacing in the off season to realize that's a bunch of horse shit.
yeah.
All due respect to iRacing and simulators, but again, we saw the difference between the NASCAR iRacing and what we're seeing now.
Respecting each other.
You guys
Yeah.
heard of Timmy Hill in a long time? All due respect, I really like Timmy Hill, but
yeah. All right, guys. Do you have anything else to add before we end the show here?
I mean, this is probably the most disappointed I should say I've been in a long time as far as what my driver did in a situation. So I'm just happy to be a couple races closer to the end of the season, put this whole mess behind us. Hopefully watch Ryan and Bubba run really well the rest of the way. So I just, at this point, being a neutral fan, I just hope we see really good racing the rest of the way for the playoffs. I don't really have any skin in the game anymore. So
I just hope that 11 car goes and wins me a championship, because I would like a nice payday right there.
yeah, even just but
hell no, buddy. It's gonna be 4. It's gonna be 4.
which one of you guys wins is taking us all out to dinner, you punks.
Well, he's running away with it now. Denny hasn't won in over a month. He's got 9 wins. I have 6.
Yeah, I got about almost $400 in winnings so far. So yeah,
$500 in diecast.
Yeah, it'll even itself out. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Stock Car Spectacle. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on all podcast platforms. You can find me, Nick, and Mike on Twitter and Instagram, along with the Stock Car Spectacle accounts. And so make sure to check out the KODOs Mojo as well. Make sure to check out his most recent episode with us on there. It's really worth the listen. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Hensel.